This is CBS 2 News at 11 p.m.
K-rails are going up tonight ahead of heavy rain. The latest system could be the strongest one we've seen yet, with downpours rolling in overnight.
Rain's already coming down in parts of Southern California. This is a live look at the Santa Monica Pier. That rain has been coating our camera all night.
Well, people across Southern California are gearing up tonight for the latest round of heavy rain.
Evacuation orders are already in place for the holy fire burn areas. Now let's take a live look at the radar, and there is a lot of green across our region right now. We have a team of reporters spread out across the Southland.
But let's get right to CBS 2's Garth Kemp with more of where that storm is headed. Garth.
Yeah, Pat, well, we were cooler today, no doubt, by a good 7 degrees than we were yesterday at this time, and we have a lot of flash flood watches. The entire area except for the San Gabriel Valley, that includes our friends up into the high deserts of the Apple and Lucerne valleys up towards Santa Clarita. You can see all mountain areas all the way down to the OC, San Diego County, the Inland Empire. We are under flash flood watches through at least tomorrow evening at 10 o'clock. We are expecting heavy rain to begin coming our way this evening. Embedded underneath these for the mountains of LA, Ventura County as well. High wind watches there, high wind warnings going up in the San Bernardino County mountains. There's the rain right now. Heaviest of the rain still to the north, so we haven't finished or even begun to hook up yet with the strongest amounts of precip coming through the area. But you can see we continue to get it rotating through the area up by Crestline, San Bernardino, Wrightwood, Big Bear. The reason you're not seeing snow there, this is subtropical in nature. We're picking up that Hawaiian, the Pineapple Express off a low pressure area off the Hawaiian Islands. That keeps it very high as far as snowfall levels. How much rain, timing, we're going to show you all. Promise you in just about 15 minutes. Stay with us. Back to you guys.
All right, Garth, thanks very much. With this heavy rain moving in, people in the holy fire burn areas are being told to get out. CBS 2's Nicole Comstock is live in Lake Elsinore. But Nicole, not everybody's leaving, right?
That's right, Jeff. Homeowners tell us that they've had their sandbags in place out here now for months and that they're pretty confident they'll be okay through this storm overnight. But CAL FIRE says they shouldn't get comfortable just yet because they are expecting a lot of rain out here overnight. And again, they're expecting mud flow this time around. When a downpour is predicted in Lake Elsinore and Corona, neighbors can bet on a deputy at their front door issuing evacuation orders.
Hello, Sheriff's Department.
The pattern is so predictable for people who live near the Holy Fire burn scar. Many who've packed their bags with past storms now stay put.
You know, if we do stay, we know we're pretty much stuck if it gets bad. So.
Robert McEvely's family isn't evacuating tonight, even though they had a close call on their street in December's storm.
We were here the time when it was really bad, when the street was flooded and it was chaos.
The bad news is officials believe the rainfall overnight could come close to that.
This is going to be the largest storm that we experienced this winter.
CAL FIRE Captain Fernando Herrera says it only takes half an inch of rain over the burn scar to trigger debris flow. And tonight they're expecting up to 3/4 of an inch of rain per hour, with a total of up to 7 inches from midnight to Thursday afternoon.
That's quite a bit of rain coming down the canyon areas that are already saturated from the last storms. So we do expect to see more runoff, especially with the mud and debris flows coming down that should impact a lot of the streets and the neighborhoods at risk.
Neighbors staying home are filling up a few more sandbags, watching public works crews clear drainage ditches.
You know, I have a new respect for public services.
And crossing their fingers that they get lucky again. Do you guys have bags packed or anything just in case something happens? And you can see that rainwater starting to come down the center of Nottingham Way out here in Lake Elsinore. This is one of the neighborhoods that had some pretty bad mud flow in the past. So again, CAL FIRE says if you have those evacuation orders, you definitely want to leave now because the heaviest rain is expected to fall overnight. For now, reporting live from Lake Elsinore, Nicole Comstock, CBS 2 News.
Thank you, Nicole. Now, Orange County has already seen some damage, and the worst of the storm hasn't even hit yet. A hillside has given way and closed down part of El Camino Real. Our live team coverage continues now with CBS 2 Orange County reporter Stacy Butler. She's live in San Clemente. Stacy.
Yeah, Pat, here on the side of PCH, you can see where the landslide has come down and it's completely taken out this concrete barrier. And just up the hill from here, a brand new community, an existing neighborhood, worrying a lot of residents. As another storm soaks her already soggy hillside, Jean O'Grady worries.
There's a lot of water in the clay over here.
She's afraid the landslide that has closed part of PCH just below her home in Colony Cove in San Clemente could be a sign of worse damage to come.
I really didn't think that the bluff would be impacted. but it looks like it is.
Does this worry you?
Two things happening at the same time, development and then a lot of rain. And so, yeah, it's worrying.
She's talking about a new development near the bluffs above the landslide, feet from her home. She says as soon as the homes went up, the rain has just kept coming. Tonight, crews are shoring up the 100-foot landslide that crept onto PCH this morning.
Given the weather, we're just concerned that more may come down and we may not be able to control it.
The director of public works says it's been over 2 decades since a landslide covered PCH just below Colony Cove. Tom Vonnegut says the steep bluffs are an untouched nature preserve. He fears a surprise large-scale failure.
I don't see any cracks or fissures right now, but that situation could change, and that's why we're just trying to be safe. We really don't know. We've got to get through this storm period.
And the city engineer told me that the landslide is slowly moving. So the crews have placed these K-rails, cement K-rails, hoping that they'll keep any mud and debris flow, any of the dirt that comes here over onto the railroad tracks. They're going to try to prevent that. But of course, the worst here in the storm is yet to come. That's the latest from San Clemente. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you, Stacy. Breaking news to tell you about right now. Police have detained a suspect in a triple homicide at a Kaiser Permanente hospital in Irvine and in Newport Beach in the gated community in Bonita Canyon. Detectives are working on a criminal investigation. Right now, there is no confirmation whether the two are connected. We will continue to follow this breaking story, and we'll bring you the latest as soon as we get it.
Scary ride on a flight out of John Wayne Airport bound for Seattle. Not long after takeoff, the Delta commuter jet hit some monster turbulence. Several passengers, crew members as well, were hurt during that midair chaos.
Yes, 3 people had to be hospitalized after the jet made an emergency landing in Reno. And CBS 2's Tom Waite spoke with a passenger who was on that flight, and you have an incredible story to tell. The video is just, what can I say?
Yeah, I mean, braver than I could be in these situations. Like we were talking about, turbulence is just terrifying, right? And this is really bad. That passenger I spoke with said there were 2 massive drops that happened very quickly. The pilot would have to radio in an emergency landing.
Video posted to Twitter shows the frightening aftermath of severe turbulence. A beverage cart was sent airborne and flipped over. Shell-shocked passengers look on. Pilots radio in as they plan to make an emergency landing.
Numerous injuries. We do not have a number on how many injuries. My understanding is we have 2 flight attendants that may be incapacitated with several passengers.
Delta Compass Flight 5763 was diverted to Reno. 5 people were hurt. 3 were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. It was 1 crew member and 2 passengers.
This is our guy landing, and once he passes my position at Delta runway, my control, myself and fire vehicles will follow aircraft down runway.
We spoke with one of the passengers who was on board, Dave Macias from Orange County. He told us the turbulence came out of nowhere.
It literally just happened. I mean, flight attendant was in the aisle doing the drink service, and you know, when it started, we just saw the drink cart go up in the air. The flight attendant was getting tossed around like a rag doll. It was wild.
Dave says one of the injured was a mother with her young daughter.
There was a mother in the bathroom with a child. That's one of the people who ended up getting hurt. She was, you know, after it all happened, I kind of looked back towards the rear, and she was walking out of the bathroom, blood all over her face.
The pilot also told air traffic control he did not believe the aircraft was damaged. Dave told us Delta handled the situation very well. Still, it was very rough for these passengers tonight. They didn't get into Seattle until about an hour ago. Back to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Well, the investigation continues into the deaths of 2 men at the home of a West Hollywood political donor. Now, CBS 2 investigative reporter David Goldstein is confronting that man. Last week, we looked into the donations made by this man, Ed Buck. He has donated large amounts of money to various politicians over the years, but he refused to talk to us about the deaths of 2 men in his apartment. Jamel Moore died from a drug overdose in July, and Timothy Dean died in Buck's apartment just last month. David Goldstein found Buck and asked him about the controversy.
David Goldstein with CBS 2 News, and you had 2 people who died in your house.
Find out what Ed Buck told our David Goldstein and who David found with him. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for our full investigation right here on CBS 2 News at 11.
Tonight, police are searching for the suspects who robbed and pistol-whipped rapper Rich the Kid, along with his entourage. Now, that's a West Hollywood hair salon that caught the sound of the gunfire. Detectives say that the shooting happened after an assault behind the Westlake recording studios. They say 3 men confronted 3 others. They were going into the studio. None of the victims, though, was seriously hurt.
A robbery turned hit and run in Chino, and now police are searching for 3 suspects who could face an attempted murder charge after running over a store manager. Tonight, the woman's mother spoke exclusively to our Hermela Aragawi.
It was pretty chaotic.
Security video shows the 2 thieves run out of the store, throw the bike in the trunk bed, and hop into the pickup. Megan Rodriguez catches up with them just in time, but the getaway driver takes off anyway and runs her over with the back wheel, breaking her pelvis, ankle, and thumb.
Your worst nightmare. You get a phone call that your daughter was hit by a car for a bike. To see her lying there all broken, her face scarred, you can't do nothing. Couldn't protect her from this.
Just minutes earlier, the 2 men can be seen inside the store. One of them waits at the door, then opens it for the other guy, who just walks out with a $10,000 bike. Rodriguez, who's ringing up a customer, springs into action and runs after them. 3 other men, including the store mechanic, follow her.
I thought for a second that they would stop. When I saw that they didn't after Megan was hurt, I was just enraged.
As Raul Ureno runs after the suspect vehicle, a bystander steps in to help.
He asked me to jump in the car and said, let's follow these guys.
The 2 followed the pickup a few miles.
It was all about Megan. I just wanted to pull one of those guys out and stop him from fleeing the scene.
They couldn't stop the thieves, but at some point Ureno was able to grab the bicycle out of the pickup. Rodriguez is expected to make a full recovery, but it won't be easy. She has to have surgery and will be out of work for a while. If you recognize the suspects, police want to hear from you. Reporting in Chino, Hermela Aragawi, CBS 2 News.
A retired deputy helped catch the man accused of shooting a 10-year-old in the head last week on the 15 freeway. The CHP says it was a random, unprovoked attack. They believe Jose Luis Chavez opened fire on a BMW in the Cajon Pass. Sometime after that, Chavez was found with ammunition trespassing on the property of a retired sheriff's deputy who watched the news and connected the dots. The injured boy is out of the hospital but is afraid to show his face.
It's the end of my world.
That's what you thought?
Yeah. He couldn't put me in so much danger. Yeah. Put me, go to heaven.
Oh, the little boy says he is grateful to be alive and safe, and now he actually wants to join law enforcement, he says, when he grows up.
Well, he would be a good officer.
Yeah.
A war of words on social media tonight between President Trump and Governor Gavin Newsom.
So it started with the president blasting our new governor over the controversial high-speed rail project. Joining us now for what's being said between those 2 leaders, political reporter Dave Bryan.
And you know, you could see this battle coming from a mile away,
yeah, exactly.
Right? Everybody could see it coming. The back and forth on social media was sparked by Governor Newsom's surprise announcement yesterday about the future of high-speed rail in California. The governor said he wants to finish the line already under construction between Bakersfield and Merced. However, for now, he's dropping plans to extend the line from L.A. to San Francisco because the project is so far behind schedule and over budget. President Trump jumped on this tonight by tweeting, California has been forced to cancel the massive bullet train project after having spent and wasted many billions of dollars. They owe the federal government $3.5 billion. We want that money back now. Whole project is a green disaster. Now, Governor Newsom was quick to respond with this tweet. Fake news. We're building high-speed rail connecting the Central Valley and beyond. This is California's money allocated by Congress for this project. We're not giving it back. The train is leaving the station. Better get on board. He then added the question, desperately searching for some wall money? Well, so far, President Trump hasn't responded to Governor Newsom's latest tweet. Pat and Jeff, who knows where this is headed next? Back to you.
But we know it's headed somewhere.
That's
All
for
right,
sure.
thank you, Dave. A Disneyland visitor was kicked out of the park this afternoon after he unfurled a large banner on the side of the Mark Twain riverboat. The banner said Trump 2020. The guest, who identified himself as Dion Cini, live streamed it on Facebook. And according to the Orlando Sentinel, Cini was previously banned from Walt Disney World for holding up Trump signs there.
Federal judge has ruled that Paul Manafort deliberately lied to special counsel Robert Mueller's team. That means a plea deal for President Trump's former campaign chairman is null and void. The judge said that Manafort intentionally made multiple false statements to the FBI, the Office of the Special Counsel, not to mention the grand jury. Manafort denies intentionally lying. He is scheduled, however, to be sentenced next month.
People in the San Gabriel Valley are getting ready, and that's because some of the heaviest rains could hit the mountains above them. CBS 2's Sarah Donchie is live in Pasadena tonight with more. Sarah.
Yeah, good evening. The rain here in Pasadena for most of the day, afternoon into evening, has been pretty light. In fact, I'll step out of the shot so you can really see what I'm talking about. It's just a light misting. You may not even be able to pick it up on TV. More of a nuisance than anything else, but we know that overnight and into tomorrow, that is really going to change. And people here say they want to be ready for that. The pattering of raindrops might mean a race against the clock.
We put up a lot of sandbags around my house because we're just a little bit below street level.
Or they could just be a sight to behold.
I just love the rain. I don't know, something about the atmospheric of it is just, it's so beautiful.
Or maybe a necessary inconvenience.
I don't like the rain. I lived 21 years and I don't need it now.
And what about you?
Oh, I love it.
You do? Why?
Because we need it.
But earlier this month, the Pasadena area was hit with more than 5 inches of rain in just a few days. That means there's work to be done.
You look up and you see the ceiling is damaged, and we had just done some work in the bedroom, and you don't want the water to get on that, so we bucketed and did what we could.
Roof repair specialist says they've been flooded with hundreds of calls.
Things get crazy. The phone doesn't stop ringing. Everyone at the office is working overtime. Before you can finish off the leaks that you already have scheduled, another rain comes. So that's why we're stuck doing a lot of tarpings for customers, rushing out on emergency jobs before it gets rainy.
Other than stuff like this, we need the rain, so I'm not complaining at all.
To give you an idea of just how busy those roof repair guys were that we spoke to, they said when they know a big rain is coming, they typically go out to about 10 to 12 houses to lay tarps on roofs that need repairs. Of course, that's just a temporary fix, and the real repairs need to be done after the rain has passed. Reporting live from Pasadena, Sarah Donchie, CBS 2 News.
Yeah, that's what I keep getting told.
Yeah.
I have a leak coming in.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Already?
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't rain enough around here really to get observation on it sometimes.
That's right.
But, when we've had this heavy rain, real quick, I just want to say, remember back in the days last year with Houston when it got how much, or 2 the big rains in Houston?
Too much.
5 days solid, 24 hours a day of that heavy rain, and you could imagine just the flooding.
It was horrible.
Right. When we get 5 inches like that, it's bad here.
Yeah.
So you could just imagine how much rain they picked up there. For us right now, there it is. It's coming down 54 degrees. We're just starting to ramp it up. 41 in Big Bear, 44 in Lancaster. Let's get to the watches and the warnings. All the greens you're seeing are flash flood watches. See these browns? These are high wind warnings for the mountain areas of Southern California. So it's going to get windy around here, 60, 65 mile an hour winds. We have flash flood watches that are up and running. We have street flooding going to be going on as well. So we have those urban flood advisories in effect. There's the center of the low. There's the subtropical moisture, the atmospheric river, the Pineapple Express. Pick a name, it's all the same thing. It's just a super highway of moisture. And we hook that up with that cold area, low pressure. Should get vigorous. Just a quick heads up. As you can see, the light rain. This is subtropical. Snow levels stay at around 9,000 feet. They'll eventually come down on Friday, but a lot of the moisture could escape out here. Elsinore, you can see some rain there. Down for our friends in Irvine, Costa Mesa as well. Mission Viejo, we're picking it up. I want to give you a heads up. We'll see about 1 to 3 inches of rain. We could see 4 to 6 inches, 7 inches, and some of those south-facing foothills, especially out towards the IE and down to the south. But if we don't quite hook up totally with the area low pressure, that could come down a little bit. But right now, I think we're still pretty much on target. So here's how vigorous it gets overnight tonight through tomorrow morning. Light rain becomes heavy rain. By 5 a.m., you can see we're going to start having problems, and that's why we're worried about the burn areas. By 8:30, look at the amount of heavy rain. Thunderstorms are possible in some spots, but those reds, a half to an inch of rain an hour. That's the rainfall total. Look at Santa Barbara, Montecito, San Ysidro just getting hammered. And then as we make our way through the morning, it moves all the way in through L.A. County, all the way up towards Santa Clarita, starts to encroach into San Bernardino, the IE down to the south as well. And that's the problem for the Holy Fire Canyon 1 fires. This is what we're looking at down here, this heavy rain in the afternoon hours. It proceeds through. But by about 1 o'clock, you'll be able to move through and start to clear out from the west down to the south. But remember, riverbeds will flood rapidly. Ground could be moving, and ground could also be moving for several days after this. So please be vigilant. But if you're going out for Valentine's Day tomorrow, hard word for me to get out there. If you're going out for that tomorrow, as you go on through the evening hours, it should be just a little bit better for Valentine's Day. Okay?
Uh-huh.
All right. Yeah, I'll hold myself and keep myself warm. Okay, back to you
Happy
guys.
Valentine's Day, Garth.
Same to you.
Okay, the winner of Celebrity Big Brother Season 2 was crowned tonight right here on CBS.
And the Season 2 victory is considered historic.
Singer, songwriter Tamar Braxton won, and she's now the first ever African-American housemate to win the grand prize. Tamar is also the baby sister of singer Toni Braxton.
Congratulations, Tamar! You are the winner of Celebrity Big Brother.
Hard, girlhard.com. But it was also fun.
Former Heisman Trophy winner and NFL running back Ricky Williams, there he is, came in second.
Well, a pretty sad day in space as NASA announces the mission of the Mars rover Opportunity is officially complete.